Pam Bondi stood in front of the courthouse, the morning sun casting long shadows over the steps. The crowd was restless, murmuring in hushed tones, their eyes trained on her. She adjusted the gold cross around her neck, its delicate weight a reminder of both her faith and her responsibilities as Florida's Attorney General. Today, the courtroom would be her stage, but what she didn't know was that the stage was about to be set for something far beyond her legal prowess. Pam had worked tirelessly for years, navigating the complicated world of law. Her success often overshadowed by a reputation that felt more like a weight than a title. She had always believed that what she wore, what she believed in, and how she presented herself were personal decisions. The cross around her neck wasn't for show. It wasn't for approval. It was for herself, a grounding force in an often chaotic world. But on this particular day, something felt different. As she entered the courtroom, the judge, an imposing figure with a sharp gaze, paused when he saw the cross. "Ms. Bondi," the judge began, his voice stern and unwavering, "you are a respected attorney, but there is something in your appearance today that I find troubling." The room fell silent. "Your cross," he continued, gesturing toward the delicate necklace. "I must fine you for wearing it in this court. It is an inappropriate symbol for this legal setting." Pam blinked, taken aback. She had always understood the rules of decorum, how to dress, how to speak, but this was something she had never anticipated. "My cross?" she asked, her voice quiet but steady. "This is a personal part of who I am. It has no bearing on my work or my ability to perform in this court. It is a symbol of my faith and my personal conviction." The judge's eyes hardened. "We have rules, Ms. Bondi. Your faith has no place in my courtroom." Pam's heart raced, a mixture of frustration and disbelief bubbling inside her. She had faced challenges in her career before, but this felt different. She could feel the weight of every eye in the room, and yet she remained calm, not letting the injustice show. She'd fought too many battles in the courtroom to back down now. "With all due respect, Your Honor," she said, standing tall, "I will not remove it. This cross is not a distraction. It is my guide." The fine was imposed, and Pam was forced to step outside the courthouse and reflect on what had just happened. She was shaken but not defeated. She understood that what had occurred was more than just an issue about a piece of jewelry. It was about respect, equality, and the right to express who we are in a world that often tries to silence individuality. That evening, Pam returned to her office, the weight of the incident still heavy on her heart. Her assistant, a young woman named Sarah, entered the room, holding a file. "Are you all right, Miss Bondi?" Sarah asked, her voice soft with concern. "I saw what happened in the courtroom." Pam took a deep breath. "I'll be fine, Sarah. But it's hard to believe that something as simple as a cross could cause so much turmoil. It makes me wonder if the law sometimes loses sight of what really matters." Just as she was about to sit down, the phone rang. It was an unknown number, but Pam answered it anyway. "Pam, it's Peter, one of your old colleagues. I saw what happened today. I want to let you know something important." The voice on the other end of the line said. Peter had always been blunt, but there was something in his tone that caught her attention. "What is it, Peter?" "You need to know something. A few months ago, I went up against that same judge. I wore a Star of David around my neck as a sign of my faith. He fined me too, Pam. But you're different. You see, I never fought back like you. You stood tall today, and that matters. I can't explain why it matters, but it does." Pam felt a strange warmth in her chest. Peter's words were more than just a passing comfort. There was a truth in them, something deep that resonated with her in a way she couldn't explain. The next day, Pam made the decision to appeal the fine, but not for the reasons anyone might expect. It wasn't about winning a legal battle or proving a point. It was about standing for something bigger than herself. It was about the right to live authentically, even in spaces that sought to suppress individuality. Weeks passed, and the appeal process began. The courtroom was once again filled with a buzz of anticipation. But this time, Pam entered with a calm resolve. She knew this was a moment that could define not just her career, but the values she held dear. The judge who would find her was presiding over the case again, but this time, Pam was ready. She stood in front of the courtroom, addressing the judge with a clarity that only someone with years of legal experience could possess. Your Honor, I am here today not just to ask you to overturn the fine, but to ask you to reconsider the deeper principles that we, as a society, hold dear. Pam began. The law is meant to protect us all, to ensure that our freedoms are not only respected, but celebrated. And one of the most fundamental freedoms is the right to express who we are, no matter our background, our faith, or our beliefs. The judge raised an eyebrow, clearly skeptical, but Pam continued, her voice unwavering. This cross that I wear is not a symbol to provoke or to offend. It is simply a reflection of my faith. And while I respect the importance of maintaining decorum in this court, I believe that we cannot allow the law to suppress the very thing that makes us human, our right to be ourselves. There was a pause in the courtroom, a stillness that seemed to echo through the walls. And then something unexpected happened. The judge, who had been rigid in his stance just weeks before, slowly placed his hands on the bench and sighed deeply. I have been wrong, he said, his voice quiet but filled with a newfound understanding. I misunderstood the intent of your actions, Ms. Bondi. I can see now that your presence here today is not about defiance. It is about the right to live according to your own convictions. The fine is hereby rescinded, and I apologize for my previous decision. The courtroom erupted in quiet applause, but Pam's heart swelled not with pride, but with gratitude. She hadn't just won a case. She had opened a door for others to walk through. She had reminded everyone in that room that the law is not just about what's written on paper. It's about understanding, empathy, and humanity that binds us all. Months passed, and Pam's legal victory became more than just a headline. It became a symbol of courage, conviction, and the power of standing up for what you believe in, no matter the obstacles. But the true test came when she least expected it. One evening, as Pam was leaving her office, a young man approached her. He was disheveled, clearly in need of help. Ms. Bondi, he said, his voice trembling. I heard about what you did. I wear a cross too, but I'm scared to show it. I don't know if I can be strong like you. Pam smiled gently, her heart softened by his words. You don't have to be like me, she said. You just have to be yourself. And that's enough. In that moment, Pam realized that the true power of her actions wasn't just in the courtroom. It was in the ripple effect that had touched lives, one person at a time. By simply standing up for her beliefs, she had inspired others to do the same, to embrace their own identities, and to live without fear. As she walked away from that encounter, Pam Bondi knew that the journey she had taken, from a courtroom fine to a legal victory, was more than just a professional triumph. It was a reminder that kindness, empathy, and the courage to stand up for one's beliefs could change the world one person at a time. Pam Bondi's story would not just be remembered for the courtroom drama, but for the way it reminded people everywhere of the power of authenticity. In the end, the judge's initial judgment was overturned, but it was the hearts of those who had witnessed the transformation that felt the most profound change. Pam's courage had inspired many. It reminded them that it's not the clothes we wear or the symbols we display that define us. It's the love, respect, and understanding we extend to others. And in that, the world found hope. Because sometimes the smallest acts of kindness, standing up for what is right, showing compassion, and living authentically are the greatest acts of brilliance.